My experience occurred in the emergency room. As I have an existing medical condition that affects me on a daily basis, I do not remember being resuscitated. I remember suddenly being completely free of pain. I knew at that point that I was dying, because I have been in constant systemic pain for 9 years. The strangeness of the lack of pain was terrifying at the time. My body then became very weak and I was unable to hold myself in the reclining position on the hospital bed. I began sliding down and to the right, and as the weakness progressed, the light in the room became like static and steadily brightened. The voices of the nurses sounded further and further away, but I could see them running around and yelling as more doctors and nurses entered the room. They must have been working on my body, but I could not feel anything but a general weakness and tingling all over. The light in the room became so bright that everything in my visual perception turned into bright white light. Then I was inside the light and I became part of the light. I neither felt, nor saw any physical form, but remained in my individual consciousness. A formless presence from inside the light told me without words that I needed to live. I refused them because I did not want to return to a life and body filled with constant pain. They told me that they needed me to live, and I told them that I needed to be with them. The light felt like a transitory place between Earth and the next place, and I wanted to move on to the next place rather than going back. They expressed that I had an important purpose to fulfill for the Earth that was vital to the divine plan for our world. I did not care at the time, and still wanted to move on. Then they showed me an image of my young daughter, insisting that my return was vital to her growth, and I felt the desperate despair she would experience for many years if I did not return. I then agreed to return. They instructed me how to bring myself back. Instead of being enveloped by the light, I was to envelop the light within myself and use its power to re-manifest and strengthen my physical being. I concentrated on the light, pulled it into myself. It became smaller and more condensed, devolving again into bright static, revealing the hospital room. Slowly, I gained the strength to move and lifted myself to a sitting position with my legs crossed on the bed. The nurses watched with disbelief. The machines were beeping loudly, displaying the rhythms of an active stroke, yet I was sitting up peacefully.